The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Right now we're going to go straight to the phone lines because my good friend Mike Zullo is on the line, and Mike's got some updates to share with us, some breaking information, and just going to answer some questions that people have been asking. I know that Mike did try earlier today to line up Sheriff Joe Arpaio himself to come on as well, and Sheriff Joe wanted to come on but had a television conflict. He was doing some television filming and could not be here at this time. So give Sheriff Joe, America's toughest sheriff, our regards, Mike, and thank you for being here today.
I'll do that, Carl. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing wonderful, brother.
All right. Well, Mike, listen, thanks. I know you've only got about 15 minutes. I know your time is precious and pressed, and, man, you've been all over the place, away from home a lot, and been all over the country. But I guess I'll just go down the list. I'm just going to rattle them off, then you just answer them as you wish. Is there any breaking news, any new stuff you can tell folks that are hanging on to all of this? I know that you're going to want to kind of speak for Sheriff Joe Arpaio in that he has made some public announcements just recently about this, and you can speak in his stead. Also, of course, the big question people are asking is when? When are there going to be news conferences on the criminal investigation and on the birth certificate? And then also, people have been asking questions about this Doug Vogt report, and some people don't even know what that's about, so I'll get you to explain that. So, Mike, I'm going to hush and just let you kind of get into those. Those are the 3 or 4 main questions that I'm continuing to get, and I know our listeners want to hear you. So go ahead.
Okay, Carl. I guess Sheriff Arpaio had made a decision during a recent telephone interview that, maybe it was time that we let people know why the March date had elapsed and we did not come out like we anticipated. And the sheriff made it pretty clear in this interview, and I believe it's up on a lot of the major sites, that we are honing in on, we believe, the people responsible for the creation of that fraudulent document. Now, back when you and I were on the phone and I was out of state conducting this investigation, I had said that I believed we would do this in March, and we had every intent to do that.
Right.
We believed we have the evidence that just destroys any kind of debate about this thing being authentic.
Yes.
However, as time was going on, and because I kept calling you and I kept telling you, Carl, I don't think this is going to happen, a lot of more information began to unfold, and it started to take us down a trail. And a lot of times over the last 2 years, Carl, this has been trails that go cold.
Yeah.
This one isn't.
Yeah,
and
I know.
The sheriff, and the sheriff has just made the decision. He is not going to do anything until we finish this leg of this investigation.
Right.
And that's the reason why March didn't happen, and that's the reason why I can't come on your show and give a date.
Right.
Because this is still active, still going on, and we're pursuing it. And the sheriff believes that this will be worth the wait if this comes to fruition.
Yeah. I listen, and I know, and thank you for, in your voice and speaking for Joe Arpaio, saying that right here on Freedom Friday, because, I've kept my word to you and the sheriff, and that is when I know things, and, and I knew this, but people were just hounding me on, and hounding us at PP Simmons News and hounding us on emails and hounding us on Freedom Friday. But I wouldn't and couldn't say those things. But I knew that this is where it was headed, and that you guys have really, really, really good information about who all's involved in this, and that's why it had to go beyond March. But that's why we keep telling people, look, just trust Joe Arpaio and Mike Zullo. If it wasn't for them, you would have nothing, you would know nothing, and no one would be doing anything. So thank you, Mike, for kind of giving that information and understanding. And, when you said a moment ago that there have been smoke screens and rabbit trails thrown in your path all along for the last several years, but this is not one of them. One of the things that came through my mind, Mike, is I want to say, where's the Xerox machine? I mean, you remember that, Mike? I mean, the Obots were they were just so excited and ecstatic that they had the Xerox machine that could produce the results. And, of course, you guys studied that forensically and professionally for months and realized that was a smokescreen. And now, all of a sudden, this magical Xerox machine, nobody's talking about it anymore. Gee, wonder why.
Well, that Xerox machine really could never answer one of the fundamental questions of the document, and I don't want to get into what that is. but that is a smokescreen. And you know what? I'll even share a little information. There is an NSA document that has been received by us that actually indicates it teaches operatives how to use Xerox machines and alike to cleanse documents and erase metadata.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, that tells you a lot right there about the Xerox machine.
Right. Right.
You know, and I made it really easy for the people involved in spinning out this information. Send me an affidavit. Tell me who you used to do this work, what their credentials are, and I'll be more than happy to talk to them. You know, I'm still kind of waiting for the affidavit.
Right. They never did that. Yeah, they never sent you the information. They never sent you affidavits. They never sent you the professionals who supposedly knew this. It was just all a bunch of jibber-jabber and smokescreen. And by the way, you and I have said this, so let's go ahead and repeat this. It was through that jibber-jabber and that smokescreen and your thorough investigation of it with the people that helped you do it that you guys were made privy to other information that has now opened up into a massive criminal investigation. So we're kind of praising God for that jibber-jabber that came our way, right?
Well, I am, and I think when this is over, I plan to send each of those individuals a golden Xerox machine, and they could put it up on their mantle and know that it was that reason and that reason alone that put us on our path.
I'm telling you, it was a godsend. It was the goose that laid the golden egg, and of course they had no idea they were doing that. And but anyway, they'll find out soon enough. Right now, they're probably listening, thinking that we're just blowing smoke ourselves, but they'll find out soon. Well, anyway, back to the list of things. So okay, so that's some of the newest information. That's why, and of course, you've already kind of answered that you can't say a date, and we know that. But just generally speaking, unless some major calamity that keeps us all from doing anything, I mean, this is going to happen. I mean, to the best of your ability to say so today, all of this is going to happen, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this, you know, I can't give you a date. I'm not going to put myself in that box again,
right.
Obviously. But it is going to happen. I mean, the sheriff wouldn't make the statements he made.
Right.
The sheriff made it really clear, don't be fooled by people telling you that he gave up, because he didn't.
Right.
And we didn't. And we're continuing. I just can't tell you,
yes,
hey, we're close.
Right.
I can't say that yet.
Right. I understand. Okay. But it's going well, and you can just say, Carl, I can't answer this, but I'm going to throw this out there. It's going to be months rather than years, right? I mean, it's going to happen relatively soon, provided that some other huge thing doesn't come along that you have to bring forward, right?
Well, I'm not getting any younger, Carl, so it can't go on too many years.
I know. Well, you've already poured a lot of years of your life. But listen, I want to thank you for that. I mean, you are a true American patriot, and this is worth it. And just the little bit that I know, and you know 100 times more than I know, but the little bit that I know is mind-blowing. And when it comes out, people who've been patiently waiting will say, Okay. Now we understand. Now we see this was worth it. Tell us very quickly about the Doug Vogt situation. Just give people a quick update of what that is if they don't know, and what has been released, and what your reaction has been to that.
You know, my understanding, it was a legal maneuver to submit. I don't even want to use the word evidence. I don't even know what it is. A statement or some effect trying to report a crime. Misprison of felony or a felon or something like that. I don't even understand what he was trying to do. But my understanding is that Doug submitted a sealed document to the court, and I guess the judge unsealed the document. And there are a lot of allegations in there and whatnot. And I know Doug. I know his heart. I know he's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
All I have to say to that is I believe the court has dismissed it, and I am thankful that they dismissed it. Because that kind of work doesn't rise to the level of a criminal investigation. It is speculative in nature. It may have some good work as far as dissecting the document, but the circumstances around the creation of the document and who he alleged did it are something that we absolutely do not agree with.
Right. And that's important. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's something that is kind of like a stand that we're going to have to take here. There is references to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, myself personally in there, which really the way those chain of events took place aren't depicted correctly in the document.
Right.
You know, he took his shot. and more power to him. I mean, he did what he thought he had to do.
Right.
But it is not something that is reflective of the work that we're doing at all.
Right. Okay. And good. And I'm glad you were able to say that. And again, I mean, I don't know him personally as you do, but I appreciate the work he did early on particularly, and he's done a lot of hard work since then. But as you said, see, Mike, you and I were all over the blog postings and all of the different news sites where people are speculating on what you and Sheriff Arpaio have. And it's really funny to me because from time to time I run across these articles where people are speaking authoritatively that they know what you have, and then they say, and here's what they're going to reveal. And I read their blurb, and I'm thinking, they're not even close. They're not even close. They don't have a clue to the grandness of the scale of what you guys are getting ready to bring forward, do they?
No, and I thought I made that really clear a couple months back. If you don't hear it from me, if you don't hear it from Carl Gallups, if you don't hear it on Freedom Friday, you didn't get it.
Right. Well, thank you. Well, you did say that. I mean, if Joe Arpaio doesn't say it, if Mike Zulu doesn't say it, if you don't hear it at P.P. Simmons or Freedom Friday, question it. Deeply question it, until you hear it from one of us, because there are myriad of people out there speculating and even claiming they know. And Mike and I are looking at this stuff, and folks, they don't know. They don't know. They're not even close.
No.
Yeah.
No, and you know what? There's even some guy running around. He seems to have abducted my name, and he runs around posting things on blogs like me. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Oh, no. Well, Mike, listen, I know we've kept you too long here. Hold on.
Mike, you mean there's disinformation floating around the Internet about you and your investigation? I don't believe it.
Come on.
No, you can't believe that, man. You can't believe that.
That can't be that's not a tactic, is it? To blow disinformation around?
Oh, my God. Guys, really, put those tinfoil hats away. It doesn't happen.
I know. We've got our tinfoil hats. We're going to put them on in a moment. Well, Mike, we're going to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much. And I know when you have other stuff you can bring and updates, you'll tell us. But the bottom line is you're honing in on who did it. Arpaio is aware of all of this. He's on top of it. He hasn't given up. You haven't given up. It's still going strong. There's new information coming in that you guys are going through, and it will happen. It will happen. The conferences will happen. There's two of them, the criminal investigation and the birth certificate, right?
That's correct.
Okay, good deal. Mike, thank you so much for being with us. That's Mike Zulu, my guest this afternoon.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.